Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Black Mirror. So, we're, I think, done with the upper stairs for a while. Let's go downstairs again. And the manor does feel very big, but there's enough locked doors and blocked off passages and you can't go that way elements that it's going to be a little more controlled, which is probably a good thing. Let's try this door. Now,
this door leads nowhere. The lower floor of the old wing of the castle is behind it. The entrance has been walled up for years.
That's a unfortunate door right off the main hallway to wall up. Let's go to the library then. Maybe there'll be a time element and we go back in the past and some of these doors work. It kind of suck if the Black Mirror 2 and 3 also took place in the same house. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it does and some of it doesn't. We got some symbols. We've got a chair. We've got a creepy looking picture. We've got Bates, the new butler. And a book on the floor. Looks like a statue. Picture over here that doesn't matter, and then the library. But yeah, so far so good.
The entire outer rim is full of old symbols and signs. No one understands what they mean these days.
So some kind of puzzle.
Mordred Gordon, the heartless ruler of the dark ages of our history. His rule was ended by his own brother Marcus in 1213.
That is a long time ago. And when you get in these pictures, it seems like there's something you can do with them. Wouldn't it be weird if it's take the pills and look at the picture and then you hallucinate? I'm wondering if there's gonna be a Black Mirror on top of the entire castle being called the Black Mirror.
The fire has to be maintained in winter as well as summer. Otherwise, it's very cold in here.
Summer.
Bates sometimes sits on it when he has nothing to do. It seems as if no one has moved it for years.
And I'm looking for something to stand on, and I think I'm gonna actually have to find a step ladder or a ladder. I don't think I can just grab a chair.
William would often sit here reading the paper. That was a very long time ago, though.
Like, remember, the main character has been away from this area for 12 plus years. We can talk to Bates, but we don't even know what to really ask. We don't know what we're really doing other than investigating William's death.
I'm glad you have returned, sir. We have kept your room intact. It's exactly as it was when you left.
Very nice. Thank you.
If you would like to have it straightened or anything else, just tell me.
That won't be necessary. It happened so suddenly. I didn't have time to write that I was coming.
I would be happy to help you with anything.
Thank you. I'll be fine.
Do you need anything else, sir?
Let's see, we can ask about Bates, we can ask for the key to the attic, fireplace in the room, the castle coat of arms, and we can ask about Robert. Let's ask the basic things first, and then ask about Robert, and then ask about him.
I was under the impression that nothing had changed here since I left. So many years have passed, but it seems to me like it was just last month. The same scenery, the same weather, as though time would rather avoid this place.
lot has changed in your absence. Nothing is as it was, believe me. We are all growing old, and so is everything around us. I've been a servant here since my youth, and I know well how much a man can be changed by this place. During the last few months, things have been getting noticeably worse, day by day. It is as if the bleakness within the old walls of this manor is gradually taking us over.
Maybe you're right. Then I don't feel exactly well within these walls. It recalling memories of me that I've wanted to forget. Range of dark and thin. And that dismal silence.
A castle like this could easily have toxic mold causing those feelings. But I imagine something more supernatural will explain their feelings.
Bates, could you please light up the fireplace in my room? It's quite cold in there.
Oh, pardon this old servant, sir. I had completely forgotten about it. I will be happy to light up your fireplace. Also, if you need the room cleaned up properly, please say so. It was abandoned for over 12 years, and one hasty cleanup is insufficient.
No, the room is all right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
It's interesting, the game is kind of threatening to clean that room, and you already know that you need to find the key in that room, and if it gets cleaned, the key might get moved and lost.
I need the key to the attic. Do you know where I can find it?
It is hanging in the kitchen right next to the cellar door. You cannot possibly miss it. I'm going to need the key later today. Can you please put it back afterwards, sir?
Of course I'll return it.
Thank you.
I have spoken to Robert. It seems to me he may not be feeling well.
It is probably due to his responsibilities at Ashbury. Lately it seems to really exhaust him. He has recently taken to spending most of his time at work, often not even returning home for the night. He usually arrives in the evening, locks himself in his study, and works late into the night. He won't even let me in.
He may just not want to be disturbed.
Maybe, but he would never do that before.
I'll talk to him.
All right, sir.
Interesting.
Are you sure you're all right, Bates? You know you can take a rest whenever you want.
Thank you, sir. I think I will be fine.
I think I will go now.
I'll return to my work.
You know, with this level of voice acting, it wouldn't be a terrible idea for them to just have not put in the talking. But at 2003, a game with no dialogue that was a point-and-click adventure would suffer probably even more than in 2017. Nowadays, you could probably easily sell a game there was a point-and-click adventure with no talking. Certainly, there's an unlimited number of visual novels on Steam that don't have voice acting to compare. But it was a major selling point in point-and-click adventures as back in the day. It was what sold people on buying CD-ROMs for their PCs.
Lots of books for
and going back was really not an option. So we're just going to look at whatever we can look at and talk to Herman. I imagine looking at things and talking to people is the right move. The central part. It's a lot of round objects that I'm not sure they're globes.
Jeremy Gordon, William's father.
So almost feels like a collectible thing where every photo you look at will be reviewable through a gallery in the main menu. I doubt that's the case, but that would be interesting. This This has a Castlevania vibe.
Old dust-covered books.
Castlevania, the castle kind of never changed and lasted throughout hundreds of years, as I understand it. And I think that's kind of the case here too, that this is a castle that never changes and can last forever through some magic. It's odd to cross a room like this and have two different sections. That's not good game design, because you're almost, you didn't quite, but you're almost crossing the fourth wall of the camera. You would have to assume that there's a camera like on a tripod here, and it just rotated 90 degrees to see this part. And without a transition and a panning shot to connect the room in the viewer's mind is kind of confusing. Of course,
A manually drawn map of the world from the 16th
it's
century.
not as bad as what Downfall was doing, where it was blatantly crossing the fourth wall, and you would be very, very confused about where the character was standing.
Literary works, Renaissance, lots of great books are among them. Maybe I'll read one of them sometime later when I'm resting.
I kind of just assume that all the people that can live in this castle are given like dowries or
It seems like something's missing.
pensions. So we've found our first puzzle, and either there's some marbles.
It seems like something's missing here.
Unless I was going to use the pills on them. So I need to find a set of marbles for this puzzle. So I imagine the paintings are also a puzzle, but they require something. Maybe I should just talk to
The map
people.
of our manor. It might come in handy. I'll take it.
Excellent. That's going to probably prove to be very useful. So we have the Black Mirror, the War Mill Village and Willow Creek, the White Wood, and the Deep Mire. So, do we have anything more specific? Oh, no. So, clicking on that gets you back into the central hallway, though. So, if you wanted to save yourself a few clicks, not a bad move. This is the central part. So, camera's here, rotates 90 degrees, it's here. And then there's a rear part, so there's like 3 parts to this entire room. It's just too big. And now you've definitely crossed that fourth wall. We hear the clocks everywhere.
The statue is holding something strange in its hand. It appears to be a key of some sort, or an amulet.
Can I do anything with that? Let's give the coin to the statue. Apparently not. So he's holding something, but I
There's no
have no
point in
need
skimming
for it.
through these books. Not one of them can help me find out what happened. Just more books.
Table. And a big book.
A chronicle of the Warm Hill Manor. The local parish has been here for a very, very long time. According to the oldest books and records, it has been here for so long that only the walls of our castle may remember its foundation. Marcus Gordon had the church built so long ago that the date has already been lost in the mists of time. Therefore, the actual age of the building can only be estimated. As in the past, there was no accurate record keeping. Should we hold to the views of respected historians, it was around 1215 AD that the church was built. It is thought that Marcus had the church built on pagan lands, where many innocent people died through the ages. There is no corresponding record to this, however. Not one mention in any books or volumes available to me at the manor or the vicarage. Therefore, from a historic standpoint, this is a mere assumption, or worse, one of the many fictitious legends circulating in these lands. One thing, however, is more certain. It was this age that also gave rise to the academy at Black Mirror. As with Warmhill Church, it was Marcus who was responsible for the construction of such a significant building. The new academy, with its vast library, was supposed to serve as a knowledge base for all the people. It was also a safe place for depositing the chronicle of the Gordon family that Marcus ordered his wise men to protect. In this, however, fate was not kind to Marcus. The whole academy burnt to stone long after his death, around 1512 AD. Despite the vigorous effort of the people of the manor, who hurried to the disaster to fight the flames, the academy burned to the ground. When they saw there was no chance to save the building, they tried to save the records from inside. Not everyone was willing to risk their life in lethal heat for the scraps of paper that had been scribbled over. If it hadn't been for a few brave souls, however, we would have never known who Marcus Gordon was, nor some of the history of Black Mirror Manor, as most chronicles were lost to the flames. Garmoor Gordon perished in the fire at the age of 45. For his bravery, eternal memory is held. There was no one left of the academy to care for the remaining records and old books. Consequently, the volumes that remained were passed on to the Warmhill parish to the safekeeping of Father Matthias. Father Matthias took meticulous care of the historical treasure until his death.
It's a lot of dialogue.
To that holy man, the people of Garmoor Gordon are grateful for the preservation of the chronicle and the old records. Since those times, the Gordon family chronicle has been handed over from one successor of Father Matthias to the next, until today. Recorded by hand of Jeremy Gordon, 1632 AD.
So that was a ton of dialogue. Apparently we can read it again.
The local parish has been here for, according
Nope.
to
Don't want to read this. Can we exit this? No, you can just skip.
In the despatment not if Garmoor there is no one consequent rather than who that since the
As an incredibly long amount of dialogue. According to Wikipedia, there's over 5 hours of voice acting in this game, which is quite a lot for a 2003 game.
He used to spend hours and hours at it, writing.
Of course, if the main point of this game, which we still haven't really been given a main point, is to find the secrets of the Black Mirror, then it would make sense that if there's a lot of this type voiceover, and it certainly is more appreciated to have that read aloud than it would be to have to read it directly. Of course, if this was something like Skyrim, the game would simply allow you to read it or not read it, and it wouldn't really matter one way or the other if you had read the information. It would just affect how in-depth your understanding and enjoyment of the story is. Here, it seems like that's a big deal.
Doctor, can I have a
And
word with
the
you?
fire certainly explains why they wouldn't know their own history of the Black Mirror, as if it's been around for hundreds of years and its history was destroyed. I only have one thing to ask him, I guess.
It's William.
Right now, at least.
I know you were his friend, and also his physician.
Yes, that applies to your whole family. So, what is it that troubles you, Gordon? You do realize that this is not the appropriate time to speak about William.
I don't believe it was an accident.
Well, it is strange indeed. Then why would he do it? And those birds?
What burns?
Numerous deeply burned areas. I have no clue as to their origin.
Go on.
No, Mr. Gordon. Come back tomorrow. I will gladly tell you everything. I really
Interesting.
don't want to talk about this today.
All right. Then expect me tomorrow. I will certainly come back. Dr. Herman knows something important. I have to talk to him tomorrow.
So, interesting story. You know what it is, too, is the voice acting sounds rather similar to what you might have gotten as far as writing and voice acting in a old Doctor Who episode. I bet that was a slight influence, if I was to guess. What's the monolith? Let's look at that.
On the marble plate are the names of all the lords of our family who lived here.
There's some basic questions I don't quite understand here. Do they just have piles of gold sitting in some storehouse or some bank? Are they living off the land, hunting and growing all the food they possibly need? How do they... I mean, how for hundreds of years do you have an entire family living in a mansion and only one of them so far seems to work? And what does he work at? What does he do?
And a few sweets.
This is interesting. Like, there's nothing to click on here, but piece of sweets.
Almond sweets from Switzerland. I like these best.
So we take some candy. And what else is in this room? There's a statue, painting that doesn't matter, a clock, paintings of statues. It seems rear garden. There's a table with, seems like a kind of small setting. Chair.
I used to sit on this chair at family dinners.
There's supposed to be...
Statue of a little Buddha. Victoria is collecting these things.
Supposed to be a key somewhere near the door to the attic.
They don't seem to be working, showing 7:30.
I wouldn't be surprised if the multitude of clocks are around for some reason. But hopefully it's not an incredibly complicated puzzle where I have to set specific times in specific rooms to unlock something. Slightly more statues, and they seem to be all feminine statues than you would expect. Like, there's just kind of a reasoning disconnect so far that I wouldn't understand. Or I don't understand. You have a mansion full of paintings of family members, and then whenever they don't have a painting for a family member,
There's
up.
no way to reach it.
They just put a statue of a female up, of the female form up to the right wing.
Its water used to be crystal clear. I'll tell Henry to clean it up. It can't stay this dirty.
It's got some trees over here. We can go to the stable.
This is where the oldest trees grew. Victoria loved them so much, and this is what's left of them.
Looks like all the trees are falling over and dying. It'd be cool if this was kind of like a Ocarina of Time game where you go back and forth investigating the mysteries of a place that's been around for so long. It seems to be setting something up like that. Either that or we're going to get some kind of axe or chainsaw to get past the dead trees. Minher? What's a minher? The summer house?
It must be centuries old. It invokes a rather queer feeling in me.
I guess maybe the
One of the several large rocks in the garden. No one knows how they got here.
you could have like one person decorate the castle with the statues and then another person decorate the castle with the paintings and just have that inconsistency over the years. But I imagine there would be at least one lord of the manor who spends most of their days thinking about how they're gonna decorate and make things look, and they try to have some consistency there.
I used to play in it when I was a little kid. Back then, it wasn't so stagnant and neglected.
Let's see, like everything's falling apart. And it seems like you can walk to the stairs. Like, what does that mean, to the stairs? The stairs inside the house or some other form of stairs? We desperately need a map. This is the main entrance. And apparently we can go to the main gate. We were on the balcony before, and this image is zoomed out. You can't apparently go on the other side of the castle. Here we have Henry burning leaves and the slow stuttering away. Man, that frame rate is bad.
Good morning.
That's like 1 frame a second.
Good morning, sir. My name is Henry. I take care of the garden. It's not an easy job. I don't have anyone to help me. But you probably
That's
want to
way
speak
too
about
big.
Something else, sir.
Way
What
too
can I
big
do
a
for
garden
you?
for one person.
I would just like to ask a few questions.
Let's ask about Henry.
How long have you been working here, Henry?
About a year, sir.
The garden seems rather deteriorated. Everything used to blossom around here, but now...
I'm trying hard, sir. But I can't get everything done just by myself. This garden is really a lot of work, sir.
Why doesn't anyone maintain the rear garden?
I don't know, sir. Probably because nobody ever goes there.
And what about the fountain? There used to be fish in it once. I have no problem with the rear garden as such, but I want you to clean the fountain.
But, sir, isn't that rather futile? I mean, it can't even be seen from the front. It's going to be a lot of wasted work.
Either you clean it by tomorrow, or you can start looking for a new job.
Ouch.
You wish, sir.
You're not even staying here and you're giving orders.
Tell me, have worked here every day and you hardly saw him?
Well, you see, Sir William wouldn't go to the garden very often, and I only do what Madame Victoria tells me. Bates was the only one allowed in his study. He wouldn't let anyone else in.
Is there anything else you can tell me about him?
I don't really feel like talking about him with you.
Why not?
How would I put it? Everyone reckoned he was a bit of a loony. You know what I mean.
Go on.
I don't really want to talk about it with you, sir. Please ask someone else.
What does that mean?
Interesting.
Everybody perceive William as mad.
I will leave you to your work.
So people are just not giving me the information, and instead of pursuing it like he pursued the fountain to be cleaned, he just drops the important stuff. That seems really ridiculous. Like, why would you be so adamant about the fountain being cleaned and then not adamant about finding out more about the mystery that's going on here? Yeah, that seems really silly. Let's go ahead and hit escape again just to make sure it doesn't work. Nope, it doesn't work. We're not making a ton of progress, but like, I imagine there's maybe a couple more areas to look around and get our bearing, and then we'll go talk to the lady and move forward at a night, and then the story will start more properly. It probably would have been a good idea to just move the story forward, because we're going to end up going to all these areas. But most point-and-click adventure games, you end up going to the areas over and over again. It hasn't been very scary so far, and I'm not sure if this game is really going to be that scary or not. But it's still a good time to play this game, since the reboot is coming out at the end of November. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.